Last time on All Night. Beans. Now, the conclusion.
Hey! Ha! Can I? Yeah!
Wait a minute. Duh.
Hey!
Godzilla! It cannot be understated when I say Godzilla was my gateway drug to tokusatsu. Maybe a little bit of Goji and some Power Rangers here and there, but all the same, Godzilla is what opened the door to the genre overseas for me, which subsequently exposed me to Ultraman, Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Gamera, the whole kit and caboodle, baby. So needless to say, it feels odd that I really haven't dove deep on a video talking about this genre that I hold so close to my heart. Or at least a game or a piece of media that encompasses everything that I love about it. Oh, wait a minute, that's right! For those of you who caught my indie game video, you know that I love Gigabash and Dawn of the Monsters as indie titles that scratched my kaiju gaming itch. And can you blame me? The last official Godzilla game is so expensive it would be easier to hit up Nick Cage and steal the Liberty Bell.
Nicholas, please return my calls.
And the last official King Kong game, we don't talk about the last King Kong game.
Yeah.
Any Godzilla fan will of course recall the holy trinity that was the Pipeworks Godzilla trilogy. These games were truly special, and the only ones of their kind when it came to kaiju-based arena brawlers. Nowadays, it's anime franchises that get the monopoly on the concept of an arena fighting game. But back in the day, the king of the monsters was king of the arena. Ever since Godzilla Unleashed, the Godzilla gaming license has only been used for a handful of mobile releases and that, but a true successor to this legendary trilogy of games has never seen the light of day. Until...
This right here is my favorite thing, ever. In the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
I can't believe it. I can't fucking believe it. Let me not get too far ahead of myself here. Proper introductions are in order. I've ignored this gem of a game and my favorite big dumb lizard for far too long. Good morning, noon, or evening, my beautiful people. My name is All Night, and this is Gigabash.
Listen, kid. There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
Gigabash is an arena fighter full of both original and licensed kaiju developed by Passion Republic Games, a studio based out of Malaysia who previously outsourced their work to other AAA studios, but Gigabash is their first full swing as an independent studio. And holy Biolante, Batman, is this a hell of a first impression. The game takes heavy inspiration from the Pipeworks trilogy, as well as some other arena party games like Power Stone, where you can have up to 4 players on a single stage duking it out with your own unique moves, as well as power-ups that spawn on the stage. Every stage comes with its own theme and stage hazards, and every character has a unique moveset and ultimate move. Pretty simple stuff, and very easy and accessible to jump into. It's got the same gameplay philosophy as games like Smash Bros. If you think a button will do something, you'll see similar results no matter what character you pick. Unless you're Alien Baltan, that son of a bitch plays by his own rules. Every monster has a basic attack and a special attack. Each of these attacks can be held down for a stronger variant or an entirely different move altogether. Typically, holding down the special button results in your kaiju's beam attack of some kind, but not always. Every monster has a grab that you can use to pummel or use your special grab attack on an opponent. Or just, Yeet! Lastly, you have a pair of special attacks that can only be activated by guarding. In particular, holding guard and hitting the special button will result in your anti-air move. This move especially results in some wacky combo shenanigans. The one thing you would never picture from a giant monster fighting game is speed, and Gigabash has that in dividends. Or should I say, gigadins.
What is that?
I mean this with my whole chest when I say that while this game doesn't have L canceling, wave dashing, wave landing, dash canceling, or anything else that could give you arthritis before you're 25, Gigabash is equal parts easy to learn and sort of difficult to master. I would love to see 2 tournament level players duking it out in this game, because when you get it started and you get the momentum with a combo, you start knocking people into buildings and ping-ponging them through the air, you'll start to feel more like an R-Wing pilot instead of a big lumbering reptile. It's this level of complexity, speed, and momentum that makes every match feel intense and, most importantly, fun. I know I said this game is fast, but the game is oozing with giant monster movie inspiration. You do feel like a giant monster, and the stage destruction helps show that. Seeing levels topple to pieces while you're having a domestic dispute with sentient piles of bricks is something that Kaiju fans will absolutely adore. The gameplay in Gigabash is simple, fast, and fun, and could honestly be a selling point on those merits alone. But a fighting game is nothing without a robust cast to back it up.
That's a lot of fish.
Now, there is a lot to say about Gigabash's DLC roster, but we gotta take baby steps, otherwise we will be here until the next Toho Godzilla movie is made. Gigabash's cast is diverse in a way that fulfills the most common and interesting kaiju character tropes. You see this in everything from War of the Monsters to Rampage. Before we had literal Toho monsters in the roster, the original characters are very clearly inspired by some of the most famous kaiju throughout the years. Gorogong is absolutely a King Kong stand-in, despite not having fur, and oh, there it is. Every monster game needs their mech character, and Thundertros is a fun, massive feeling heavyweight. You've got your plant monster, your weird alien guy, and so on. Reiwa is the game's Godzilla stand-in, and did we honestly go this long without talking about how raw of a design Reiwa is? Calling your kaiju the Dragon King is high school levels of edge character design that I just eat right up. Reiwa? More like Rawa!
Can you see all of me? Walk into my mystery. Step inside what I'm going to like.
That and concrete has to be the greatest idea for a kaiju anyone has ever come up with. I mean, look at this guy! You could fit so many corporate executives in this bitch! Needless to say, the original cast of Gigabash are full of fun and interesting characters that I think rival pre-existing licensed kaiju. Especially Wooly. No relation. Wooly is the greatest thing to ever exist. I love Wooly with all my heart. If anything were to happen to Wooly, I would commit atrocities no mortal man should ever witness
before banishing myself to the 11th layer of hell itself.
Sorry, the pills wore off a bit there. Now, enough beating around the bush. I know why you're here, I know why I'm here, and ladies and gentlemen, it's too much for Mr. Incredible! I don't know how an indie team of all people was able to convince Toho to let them do this. I don't know. Tsuburaya Productions is almost more believable, as there doesn't seem to be a stigma on Ultraman localization in the West, but Toho, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for letting this DLC happen. Despite Godzilla not having any official games in a very long time, it's gotten to the point where now fans are stepping in to make fan projects like Godzilla Save the Earth Melee, which is another love letter to the Pipeworks trilogy that I am so stoked for. Please go check out Goji Rex. Him and his team are doing wonders over there. The truly beautiful thing about the Godzilla DLC in particular is that we have representation from every major era of Godzilla on Showcase. The Showa era has Gigan, who oddly enough is still weirdly proportioned like a guy in a rubber suit, down to the seam lines and everything. Amazing attention to detail there. The Heisei era gets Tesotroya! And of course, the big G and best design for Godzilla to ever exist. Well, maybe second best. Heisei Godzilla is the era of Godzilla that got me into the franchise to begin with movies like Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, or even Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. So to have this version of Godzilla in a fighting game once again is enough to make me...
And she's got those perfect eyes in the bright moonlight, just like fireflies in the night sky. And she likes to pass her time sipping on some wine, dreaming of butterflies in the night sky.
Rule number 1 to making a personality on the internet, always leave them guessing what makes you rock hard. And lastly, we have the best Mechagodzilla design to ever exist, Kiryu, repping the Millennium era. Where the Pipeworks trilogy struggled with making certain characters stand out from the rest, the Godzilla DLC runs the gambit with major fighting game archetypes for each character. Godzilla is an all-arounder who is effective at close and long range. Gigan is a fast-paced hit-and-run type character with many dash moves. Destroya is a heavyweight grappler, and Kiryu is a zoner. The Godzilla DLC was a breath of fresh air for any fan of this franchise who desperately wanted to see these guys in a fighting game again. And now, Godzilla's not the only Toku icon to have been invited to Gigabash. Ultraman, of all people, managed to get a full DLC roster treatment just the way Godzilla did. My Ultraman fans in the comment section are going to have to confirm for me how this roster breaks up between Heisei and Showa. And they're also legally obligated to like and subscribe to this video if you've enjoyed it thus far. I'm 90% sure that OG Ultraman and Alien Baltan represent the Showa era of Ultraman, while Ultraman Tiga and Chimera are representatives from the Heisei era. Hey, Ultraman people, am I supposed to be feeling things when I look at Chimera? I'm asking for a friend. It's me, I'm friend. My only criticism with the Ultraman DLC is that the characters, at least the two Ultramen, kinda have a similar playstyle with just different moves and gimmicks to try and split them up. Like OG Ultraman has the haha funny spin move, and Ultraman Tiga has the form-changing gimmick, which gives him a few different moves, but they ultimately both play similarly to the game's own Ultraman stand-in Gigaman, which I suppose was intentional, because duh, they are the same character archetype, big metal alien karate man. From the sound effects to the references to the amount of love and care put into the character reveals up to release, Gigabash evokes this sense of hype, wonder, and care for these franchises that is only rivaled by, you guessed it, Super Smash Bros. You can tell that Passion Republic are passionate about the Toku franchise as a whole and want to deliver on the best versions of these characters as possible, all the while giving us a colorful and varied original roster to boot. I am hopeful beyond belief that Passion Republic get their wishes granted in 2024 and that we could see other tokusatsu icons join this roster. Could you imagine Gamera, a Power Rangers Megazord or Sentai Mecha, or even King Kong getting a chance to join all of the action here? We could be in the presence of what will go down in history as the unofficial Tokusatsu Smash Brothers of our dreams. Now, while the licensed characters were the official paid DLC of the game, Gigabash has seen a number of other updates since its release that have added additional modes to just spice up how you experience the game from front to back. So I wanted to go over that because there's actually a lot more here than you'd expect. Gigabash features your standard array of single-player and multiplayer options, both offline and online. Any brawl can be queued up in an online lobby or via you hosting your own match. Or you can simply play locally with up to 4 players. The online is, However, the single-player options here are where I think you'll spend the most of your time and get the most bang for your buck. The game actually does feature a story mode starring 4 characters from the base roster: Gorogong, Pipi Juras, Thundertross, and Wooly. These campaigns are your standard fare of monsters wandering around the world, traveling place to place, and finding any reason in the book to throw hands with whatever other vertically inclined creature they stumble upon when they arrive. From Gorogong and his tribe of worshippers, to Thundertross and his pilot honing their skills to save the world, to Wooly just vibing. Cause what the else would he do? Outside of that, you actually have an arcade ladder that you can play with any base roster or DLC character, along with Onslaught mode. Onslaught is a particularly neat addition as, in a weird sense, it's almost like the game's roguelike mode. It's an endless brawl between your selected character and waves after waves of enemies. After every wave, you are presented with choices for power-ups you can use leading into the next fight, be it greater attack power, defense, or filling up your Gigameter. By the way, I nearly forgot to mention that Gigameter. This is a roster-wide install mechanic where everyone gets huge, turning into a super form that enhances their attack power and grants super armor with all of their moves. If you did not already feel like a giant monster in this game, the Gigameter mechanic will be exactly what you're looking for. The Big G even gets his iconic burning form, which is just mwah. Back to Onslaught. Honestly, this mode gets the most mileage from me, as I thoroughly enjoy running it back with different characters and seeing just how far I can get. The nice numbers going up makes the serotonin go, all the while leveling up my characters, earning more unlockable skins, for free by the way, and more. If I had a nickel for every Kaiju game in 2023 that added a roguelike mode for free alongside highly requested DLC characters, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot.
Focus on yourself first.
Between a healthy cast of characters, both original and licensed, a good selection of single-player and multiplayer options, and simple yet satisfying gameplay that is just as deep as it is easy to learn, Gigabash is proof that Passion Republic are die-hard fans of the tokusatsu genre. I would wager to say that between the hype Twitter reveals and character speculation, Gigabash almost feels like a Toku Smash Brothers, which, if that ever becomes an official thing, I think my eyeballs will go sunny side up. And there are rumblings on many social media accounts that Ultraman is not the last guest character to receive an invite. So... Needless to say, and a surprise to no one, this humble indie title currently holds the crown for my current favorite Kaiju experience on modern consoles. Play Dawn of the Monsters 2, I ran out of time in this video, but it's just as good. Go play it now, go buy! 2024 looks to be such a bright year for the Kaiju fandom. We stay winning, my boyos. We are swiftly approaching the release of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. So, if you're interested in all things Kaiju and are interested in me talking more about dummy thick lizards, then please consider subscribing because I can assure you, this is only the beginning. And if you liked what I had to say today, don't forget to Giga Smash that like button to show the algorithm some love. But as always, I've been your host all night, and do not forget to stay loved, keep loving, and have a wonderful night.